I would like to preface this video with the fact that I am an Xbox fanboy. I have an Xbox One. I used to go to stores to buy Doritos just to get a month of Game Pass Ultimate. I wonder if they still have that offer. I want Xbox to be the best company it can be. But sadly, as of right now, that is not the case. Xbox's hardware unit sales have dropped, prices have increased, investments have failed, and the brand's public perception has decreased overall. However, will a new CEO, Asha Sharma, be able to turn this around? Find out. I don't like doing this like announcer voice. I'd rather just improvise this entire script. But this has like so much research that I like kind of have to like follow a script, you know? Also subscribe, please. It really helps out the channel. The first point I want to hit is hardware sales. But simply, Xbox isn't selling too many consoles. Compared to its main competitor, the PS5's 92.2 million, the Xbox Series S has only sold 35 million, according to SQ Magazine. Do some fancy math, you know. The X selling 62%, the S selling 38%. The X costing $550, which I just averaged out. I just kind of just made that number to account for the fact that there's been a price increase, which, whatever. And $300 for the S. We get a number that's roughly $15.9 billion from console sales at retail prices, stretched out over roughly 5 years, which means that they're making around $3.2 billion from console sales. Which would be fine if we weren't taking into account R&D, manufacturing, shipping, retailer costs, and the IRS's grubby hands, which would almost certainly ruin most chances of Xbox even turning a profit. Also, you gotta take into account increasing RAM prices due to AI, which, well, probably is ruining any chance Xbox has at making a well-priced console. The thing is, in my opinion, Xbox's hand in the console market affects other things besides just their consoles. For example, no new console in the next decade or so would probably reduce the amount of Game Pass users, as there would generally be less people with consoles that had the ability to play the new games that would get on there, that would require more dedicated consoles, I guess. Cloud gaming ain't gonna carry you, Xbox. And a lack of console sales could also lead to Xbox simply becoming a third-party company that doesn't sell consoles like Atari. So, they cannot neglect their console sales, no matter how good Game Pass is doing. Also, even if Xbox still just doesn't make a new console, they still need to focus on keeping their current console sales alive, because that is what ultimately drives Game Pass and other stuff. If the higher-ups at Xbox saw that creating new consoles wasn't profitable, they might just cut it off entirely. We've seen this at, albeit a kind of a smaller scale, with PlayStation stopping production of physical discs in 2028. Currently, Xbox is rumored to be in development of something called Project Helix, which is basically a console that allows you to play PC games on it, and Project Positron packaged around it, which is basically a system that allows you to turn your Xbox discs into permanent digital licenses and to potentially have the ability to share said licenses. Now, I think the idea behind this is quite good, especially Project Positron, which is going to really distinguish Xbox from its competitors like PlayStation, who is opting out of discs entirely quite soon. Also, Project Helix would be the first of its kind, a console that allows you to play PC games. That would be pretty crazy. However, it is rumored to cost quite a lot, potentially being similar to the Steam Machine's price of $1,000. Because, theoretically, Project Helix could run anything, not just Xbox games. So they wouldn't get as much money from software, and they would need to offset that price into the actual hardware. If this is true, I personally believe that they should stick with the XS model, making a tougher machine for a higher price, and also, at the same time, releasing a less beefy, but still capable machine for a much lower price. If they do decide to do just this, however, they should still keep the disk drives in both, because that's essentially probably what you're going to be paying for later on. My opinion on the PC features, like the Steam games, is much more complex. This will make the console much more expensive, as they can't regulate what kind of games you get, and they can't make as much money from software. If I were them, I would find a way to just integrate the Steam storefront into Xbox somehow. Doing that would allow you to both play your Steam library, while also making sure that, you know, Xbox still has a storefront that it can operate most of the games on. I'm no genius, and this probably has its own pseudo problems, like only Steam users being able to have their games in console, no GOG or Epic. But that's the best I could personally come up with. However, all of this, Positron mostly, Helix is a little bit more confirmed, is mostly just speculation by me. So take it with a ton of salt. It's not by me. It's by like other things, by sources, so it's whatever. My second point is investments. Now, I'll group investments into two categories. Acquisitions, basically buying another game studio and managing of said studios, and software and services, basically games made by Xbox Game Studios and just Game Pass. Yeah, it's all just Game Pass. This is gonna be like a little bit less. There's only really been one acquisition made by Xbox that truly matters in the grand scheme of things. The Activision Blizzard one. Really, sinking about $70 billion into a company meant that Xbox would naturally pivot less towards hardware and being more focused on things like Game Pass and publishing, which they would increase the price of Game Pass in late 2025, which, yeah. And also, annual revenue has not reflected a positive change, overall decreasing by $1.7 billion recently. Now, what has Asha done to counteract this? Well, she's cut 32,000 people and cut out studios like Compulsion Games, Double Fine Productions, Ninja Theory, and Undead Labs. While this may initially seem like bad news, which it is for the people laid off directly, it's not necessarily terrible. These studios aren't being shut down completely. They've just been put back into being independent studios, and some ones will even get some funding to finish off some of their games and be under new management, which I think is at least good. Xbox doesn't necessarily need to own every game studio to be successful. Plus, no games have been canceled as a result of these layoffs, which is at least a plus. Xbox, at least, is pivoting to focusing on bigger studios like Mojang and King, the developers of Candy Crush. Gotta get that granny money, which simply just makes sense, because those are the big money makers in there. And they have also potentially been pushing for higher priority projects in certain studios, including Bethesda! Elder Scrolls 6 soon? Yo! So I personally think that that's fine. Plus, they're cutting out middle management, so that's hopefully going to make things faster. However, the layoffs are a double-edged sword. They've obliterated many people at id Software, for example, especially long-standing talent that has been there since, the dawn of id with John Romero and stuff. And that is not good. It has made very well-running games on their in-house engines. And swapping to something like a new engine, or even worse, Unreal Engine 5, would probably lead to really badly optimized games, especially if they want to keep focusing on the Doom IP. Plus, cuts in things like art direction and gameplay might just lead to worse games overall in general. Another problem I see is that there are very few exclusives on Xbox, even though it's acquired so many companies like Activision, which are very big names. It seems even if they could currently just make a Call of Duty and Xbox and PC exclusive, you have to wait 10 years. They would not, as it would basically just destroy the revenue made from a near 50% PlayStation player base, and that's the problem. PlayStation has Xbox games, but Xbox doesn't have PlayStation games, and they can't really do anything about it. Luckily, Xbox is having talks about growing single-player exclusive content, which would hopefully help them out. The layoffs are bad for the employees, always, but it's not as bad as it could have ended up, in my personal opinion. You can disagree, although when it comes down to it, the fault lies in previous management acquiring this many studios. Lastly, public perception. Xbox has recently been in sort of a weird spot, the strange middle child, or youngest child technically, compared to PlayStation and Nintendo, with Phil Spencer having a negative reputation. Asha has had a much more positive reputation, although there are some, PR stunts she's made, like changing Xbox to Xbox, all caps. There's only one thing that truly matters. Transparency. Asha is honest and isn't afraid to say that Xbox has fallen behind. And speaking as Xbox as a bigger whole, the recent Xbox outage has had reports on it, and there wasn't just radio silence until it ended. Suffice it to say, I personally think Xbox's PR is the best thing about it right now. Now, to answer the question in the thumbnail, is Xbox cooked? Or was it the title? It was either the title or the thumbnail. I don't even know at the point right now, I'm just recording it. Honestly, it's too early to tell. Give me a year or two. However, for my actual answer, I think if they play their cards right, they could honestly, hopefully, pull themselves out of the slump they got themselves. American video game console developers don't usually have the best time. Atari, one of the biggest ones, ended up dying in 1984 after ET losing $100 million. I just hope Xbox isn't the next Atari. I hope Xbox actually cares for us, or at least pretends to, and gives us stuff that we want. I hope that we can actually own our games. I hope that we can share our games. I hope that we don't necessarily need internet to play our games. I hope our games can't be taken away from us. I hope we can, just have rights. I hope stuff can just continue to be affordable for us. That's just all. I hope game developers can continue making awesome games, and not be laid off. At least, yeah. So that's just all. See my next video about myself. This is like an improvised little section. I hope you guys don't mind me. Owning your games. Okay. This is probably the biggest thing about Xbox. Recently there was an outage, and even though I kind of glazed Xbox for saying that they responded to people, it was still unacceptable. The fact that a server-side error could just lock everyone out of their games, even though they physically own them in some cases. I wasn't affected myself, so it's whatever. But yeah, it's bad. I don't know if changes need to be made. I don't freaking know. It's just a weird situation just to have. I don't know what to think about that. Yeah, I'm just spinning words right now. Oh, one other thing. Backwards compatibility. If on this newest one, Xbox has backwards compatibility, which it has had for quite a long time, then that's going to be another plus, just in general. It's hopefully easy too. They've had it for a while now, so, sweet. Alright. Oh, this video was partially inspired by Nakey Jakey. It's not the actual concept it's not his actual channel. It's one of his alts named Ball Creative. I was like, yo, that's a fire video. I should make that myself. And I did. I made it myself. I mean, it should be out here right now. Oh, what was I gonna say? It's almost been 2 weeks since that dropped. I don't even know. I'm doing a collab with another guy soon. It's gonna be a lot more lighthearted. Yeah, sweet. The Persona 4 video. I don't even know when that's coming out, bro. This is really hard to edit. Frick. What else? Oh, Art Fight is really fun. I've got 6 or 7. I think it's either 7 or 8. I don't even know. I got a ton of attacks. Yeah. And I got some pretty cool defenses too. I'm really happy that I got all those. They just won't make my day. What else? I might make some game development videos, and I might actually make a Roblox game for me and my friends to play. That's just it. And what else was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I might make a P5JS video. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm gonna walk back my promise for Roblox. Yeah, that's all. Is there anything else I want to say? No. No, there's nothing else I want to say. Bye, guys!